The first segment of the Hot 7 Nightly News is brought to you by Flow.
Tonight, Caribbean leaders call for an end to division at Summit. St. Lucians celebrate sporting victories over the weekend. And one man is dead following shooting in Soufriere. The details of these stories and more coming up.
This is the Hot 7 Nightly News with Lovelace and Amy Joseph.
Good evening. Today is Monday, the 13th of June, 2022. I am Lovely St. Amy Joseph. Welcome to another edition of the Hot 7 TV Nightly News. We thank you for joining us either on Flow, Channel 117, KISS FM, the Caribbean Hot FM mobile app, the Caribbean Hot 7 TV Facebook page, or via the Hot 7 TV plug and play antenna. Prime Minister Mia Mottley broke her silence on the exclusion of Cuba, Venezuela and Nicaragua from the 9th Summit of the Americas, not only criticizing the decision, but urging the leaders of the three missing countries to put people before ideology. Echoing similar sentiments, Prime Minister Philip J. Pierre, in his address, asserted that a divided Americas cannot prosper.
United in their call, CARICOM leaders present at the 9th Summit of the Americas rebuked the United States government for its refusal to invite the leaders of three American nations, namely Cuba, Venezuela, and Nicaragua. U.S. President Joe Biden, who hosted the hemispheric meeting, had barred them from attending, a move that experts suggest cast a cloud over meaningful U.S. relations with other countries in the Americas because of his government's concerns about human rights violations and a lack of democracy. To the contrary, Barbados' Prime Minister Mia Mottley made it clear that the move was unacceptable, but issued a message to the three missing countries as well.
It's wrong that Cuba and Venezuela, Nicaragua are not here because, as you heard from Bahamas, that we need to speak with those with whom we disagree. And we don't only need to narrowcast. That's the part of the problem of the world. There's too much narrowcasting instead of broadcasting. There's too much talking at instead of talking with. But secondly, those countries must equally recognize that you cannot want to fully participate if you're not prepared equally to engage and to see progress. And the simple priority must be people, not ideology. If we can make progress for people, if we can allow people to speak different languages, if we can create a minimum floor of education and healthcare for the people of the Americas, then, my friends, the City of Angels would have played its role in the history of the Americas.
In a similar vein, St. Lucia's Prime Minister Philip J. Pierre argued that division within the region does not augur well for the development of the Americas. Therefore, he urged the revocation of the United States economic embargo against Cuba and the removal of Washington's economic sanctions against Venezuela.
Let me state clearly that the Americas can only successfully take the highway out of this crisis if the Americas act together. It is therefore disappointing that some countries of this hemisphere, namely Cuba, Venezuela, and Nicaragua, were not invited to this summit, and the summit has been marred by debates over inclusion and exclusion. The Americas cannot prosper if there is division and conflict in the hemisphere. There is always more to gain in cohesion and engagement than in fragmentation and confrontation. At this time, we must never forget the situation in Haiti, which is causing untold hardship among the people. Our generation must not miss the opportunity to create true solidarity among the nations of the Americas.
Ahead of the summit, the exclusion was a contentious issue for the regional bloc, with St. Vincent and the Grenadines Prime Minister Dr. Ralph Gonsalves declaring that he would not attend the talks. However, Prime Minister Pierre at the summit added that St. Lucia has a deep and sincere desire to see the realization of true unity among the people of the Americas. Reporting for the Hot 7 TV News, I am Kareem Nelson.
As of Monday, the 13th of June, in keeping with changes in international oil prices and government's application of the modified market pass-through petroleum pricing mechanism, the retail price of diesel and gas have increased. There is also a slight decrease in the price of LPG 20 and 22 pound cylinders, which the government says it continues to subsidize. The 100-pound cylinder has been decreased by 53 cents. The retail price of kerosene remains unchanged. The retail price of gas increased from $15.95 to $17.95 per gallon. Kerosene remains unchanged at $16.98 per gallon, while diesel increased from $16.58 to $17.95 per gallon. The 20-pound cylinder decreased from $43.84 to $43.78 per cylinder. The 22-pound cylinder decreased from $48.22 to $48.16 per cylinder. The 100-pound cylinder decreased from $350.17 to $349.64 per cylinder. The public is informed that the next adjustment of the retail price of fuel products will be on Monday, the 4th of July, 2022. Over the weekend, St. Lucians had reason to once again celebrate the successful exploits of St. Lucian sprinting sensation Julian Alfred as she captured 2 goals at the NCAA Division I Outdoor Championships. Alfred proved victorious in the women's 100 meters and also led the relay team to the top spot.
Over the weekend, Julian Alfred capped off a successful undefeated collegiate season in the women's 100-meter sprint as she captured the 2022 NCAA Division I 100-meter title in impressive fashion. Alfred powered through a closely contested race, beating out Jamaican Oregon senior Kemba Nelson for gold in a time of 11.02 seconds. She also led the Texas 4x100-meter relay team to victory with a time of 42.42 seconds, tying the 4th fastest time in school history. For her season so far, Alfred has set the NCAA indoor 60-meter record. She is currently the 3rd fastest woman in the world in the 100-meter event and now stands atop the collegiate world with 2 gold medals. Following the race on Saturday, in an interview, Alfred spoke about how much the 100-meter victory meant to her.
I would say I won before the race, to be honest. I think going in there, like I was just saying earlier on, 60-meter outdoor the finals, I was just so nervous. And I don't feel the same way, in the finals, because I was already so confident I was going to win. And like my coach was saying to me, it's already yours. And I went into the race believing it was already mine. And I saw Kimber inside of me, so I had to really deep for that. But I mean, anything I would have gotten first, second, I would have been happy because I'm healthy. It's my first nationals outdoors, and anything would have been satisfying to me at this point.
Alfred hopes that her performances can act as a beacon of light for upcoming athletes in St. Lucia to pursue their athletic dreams.
Track and field is not really a big sport back home, but I think it will encourage younger children to stay in the sport. I mean, sometimes when they get to a certain age, they want to drop out or just give up on the sport. And I was lucky enough to have people in my corner to help me to go further in the sport. And I really want to help younger children to stay in the sport and see how far they can reach with this.
Alfred has now joined fellow countrywoman Janelle Shaper as the only 2 NCAA Division I champions to hail from St. Lucia. Reporting for the Hot 7 TV News, I am Kareem Nelson.
And on Sunday, right here in St. Lucia, a huge crowd turned up at the Darren Sammy grounds in Beauséjour, Grosley to support the St. Lucia men's football team in their CONCACAF Nations League qualifier. St. Lucia defeated Anguilla convincingly with 2-0 in what was their second game in the CONCACAF Nations League 2022. Andres Remy, the captain, that should be Andres Remy and captain Kurt Frederick, were the goal scorers. On Thursday, St. Lucia won their first game 1-0 against Dominica in their opening Group C league of the tournament. This has secured St. Lucia's promotion back up to CONCACAF Nations League B and a place in the 2023 Gold Cup preliminaries. Stay with us. Still to come, 1 man is dead following a shooting in Soufrière on Monday. Jacmel residents and police give their accounts of a police shooting. And 2022 Soca Monarch qualifiers announced.
The first segment of the Hot 7 Nightly News was brought to you by Flow.